Capricorn, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your March shift reading. So for these monthly readings, we're looking at the overall energy of the month of March. We're looking at the shape you are shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shift looks and feels like. So with tarot, time is rarely exact. It's fluid. So the energies I'm picking up on may not be only exclusively devoted to this month. Just feel the need to say that. Before I get into the cards, the image that came to me as I was meditating on your energy was you tying a bow tie and wearing a tuxedo. And it was very much the moment like before you go to the event, before you go to the ball, where it's you and the mirror and you're just like putting the finishing touches, specifically on a bow tie, a black bow tie. And I was very aware that you were wearing like a tuxedo or something very elevated in your appearance because you were going to the ball, where you were going to be seen, you were going to be witnessed by others. It was very much a celebration of you, or that you were a part of a larger celebration. There's this energy of going to the ball and being seen and needing to put on the appropriate appearance to play that role, to sort of curate the way that you would like to be viewed by others. And it was like very much refined, very professional, very Capricorn energy. I also found it interesting that I was drawn to the knot being tied over the throat. It hinted to me subtly, the most part of this energy is really about the tuxedo and sort of like maybe you're going to your debut, or there's some sort of like literal or metaphorical event at which your like appearances or the way that you present yourself seems to be really important. I could be talking to some like rising sign folks here, the way you present yourself to the world. But there was this also like sort of secondary energy underlying that of the knot at the throat, which to me is talking a little bit about in the process of putting on the necessary layers to play this role or to be seen by others in a certain light of refinement, grace, poise, power, abundance, success. There's a closing off of the throat, a closing off. The throat is the passage through which we express ourselves, through which we speak our truth, the truth of our heart. There's just a subtle energy cap of knotting that up or closing that down as part of this process. We'll see how this plays out. So I've pre-pulled the two main cards. The rest we will go on the journey together. We're using the Wildwood Tarot this time around. The shape you're shifting out of, Capricorn, is, funny enough, your energy here. This is traditionally the Capricorn card in the tarot. In the Wildwood deck, this is the Guardian, which I like. I like that name. This is Saturn energy to me, just like straight up. And Saturn is your planetary ruler, Capricorn. Saturn is all about lessons learned through understanding rules and boundaries and parameters. That can include discipline, that can include healthy limitations. Putting in limitations where they're healthy to be put in, and then also taking away limitations where there are too many in place, which I think is important to say for Capricorn, because often Capricorn humans, we tend to limit ourselves in a way that Saturn is also here to liberate us from that. You know, Saturn can increase our limitation, but where there's too much limitation in place, Saturn could come in and say, hey, ease up on that a little bit. Okay. So here's this Saturnian energy here representing your stuff, Cap. But in this energy, I'm specifically drawn to the skeletal depiction. And it's funny too, because the skeleton looks very human and the skull looks very bestial. And I felt like with Saturn and Pluto conjuncting in Capricorn, you know, in your sign leading up to January, that was a pretty huge event in your energy that we've had recently. And I'm feeling like maybe that had an effect on your bone structure, on your very building blocks, on your scaffolding, on the stuff that you build every other layer on top of, your base foundation, your bare bones of yourself that kind of rocked that foundation, rocked that scaffolding. And you're shifting out of that Saturnian energy. And it's true that we are making the slow move of Saturn moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here. And what you're shifting into, you know, I think there's going to be more that comes out as we keep pulling cards here. But for now, that's what we'll leave it at. Maybe you discovering, when you strip yourself down to the essence, what really lies underneath, which is funny because it's this mix of animal and human. You know, we've got this like primitive beast skull and claws in the hands and the face and the mouth, the teeth, and everything else looks relatively human. Maybe you've discovered that part of yourself, the animal nature, more prominently. And then it's funny because now I'm getting the image mixing with the visualization in the beginning of you putting on the tuxedo, putting on the layers then over top of this half beast, half human skeleton, which humans are beasts too, you know, we're all animals. And then the final layer to that, after muscles and skin and hair, would be clothing. The most human. So we're going from like the most stripped down primal beast version of you to the image that came through my head, which is like the most civilized human version of you, dressed to the nines in the tuxedo with that finishing touch, wrapping up that beast in the human package. Okay, this is interesting. The shape you're shifting into, Capricorn, the Three of Bows, or fulfillment in this deck, that's the Three of Wands, but it looks to me much more like the Two of Wands. It looks like you are at this fork in the road, finding yourself at a fork in the road. And now this is speaking to me, this like temperance, dragon, yin and yang, polar energy integration that's actually on this person's cloak, is speaking to me of the integration of the animal human nature. And sometimes we have to strip ourselves all the way down to that raw part to see it in like the clear, bare bones light of day, to see what we really are. And then we can put the clothes back on and function as humans, no, you know, in a more integrated way, having gone to this level of depth within ourselves. Maybe even gone to this level of like fear, you know, the parts of ourselves that we're afraid of. And now you've got the clothes on, you've integrated those energies, and that has brought you to this choice point, this fork in the road that's asking you what's going to fulfill you. What is going to fulfill you? And it's like this person, I see them as like putting up the hand to say, hold on, stop. You know, stop. You can't go any further. You've got to choose. You can't go any further here. You've got to choose. I don't know what it's about. We're going to try to see if we can find out. So we're looking now, choosing 3 cards to show us what that journey is, that shift from the guardian to this fulfillment energy. What does this shapeshift look like for Capricorn? I gotta shuffle. Sorry, I just can't do it. Gotta get a couple shuffles in for you, Cap. Okay. What does this shapeshift look and feel like for Capricorn in the month of March? Okay, okay. One more, please. Capricorn, I need one more. You gave me 2. Okay. All right, Cappy, what are we looking at here, my friend? A lot. Okay. Oh, baby, here we go. This is what that shapeshift looks like. The Queen of Arrows, or the Queen of Swords, and it's the Swan. The 6 of Bows, or the 6 of Wands, and in this deck it's called Abundance. The Ace of Stones, the foundation of life. That Ace of Pentacles has been coming out for you. And the Woodward, number 11. This Hunter energy. Okay, here's what I'm getting. I'm getting that part of this fork in the road, this crossroads, this, hey, you can't go any further here. You've got to choose this path or this path sort of energy. I'm feeling that you're looking towards your future here, and you're being asked what's going to fulfill you? What's going to bring you the most fulfillment? Really, what do you really want? You know, the question with this Hunter for me is always like, what are you hunting? This feels like a very Capricorn question for me. It's like, okay, what do you want? What are you in this for? Whatever this is, this being a relationship, this being a career path, some sort of creative endeavor. I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody, but the question is, what are you in this for? You know, as you like look out over the landscape and you consider your next moves, you consider, you know, sorry if the hunting thing is like upsetting for anyone, but I'm going to go with it. What is the next thing that I want to hunt? And as I'm like imagining contemplating that and feeling that like deep fire in my belly welling up. It's kind of like the animal you welling up, and it's like, what do you lust for next? You know, like, what do you thirst for next? What do you hunger after? What are you hungry for? That's it. What are you hungry for? That's what you need to go hunt. You want elk? Go get elk. You know? It's like you have the power to do that. You're fresh off your last hunt, it looks like. And you're looking out with your trusty hunting pal, you know, being like, all right, what's next? This like beast in you that you have clearly tamed because you are wearing the head of it. What am I hungry for next? And you're at the choice point. You know, I go elk or I go elephant or whatever. It's a big choice point. And it's like, but Cap, there's a thing happening that I'm trying to understand. It's like you're being invited to feast in like a big way. And as you're being asked what's going to bring you fulfillment, it's like, what's the kind of abundance you're seeking? You know, because this is what the hunter wants to come back to. A feast prepared, and they're coming home with the meat. Talk about a breadwinner, you know? It's like, what are you bringing to this feast? That is this abundance that's already here for you, Cap. What are you bringing back to contribute to this abundance? And it's sort of like you're being encouraged to choose the most abundant future for yourself, to choose the most like decadent, the most fulfilling, the thing that's going to satiate your hunger the most. That's what you need to choose. And that might not be the most like mental decision. I'm not feeling any mental energy here, really. We can get into the Queen of Swords a little bit, but I'm really feeling more of this like animal. Okay, here's the thing. There seems to be an opportunity here. The foundation of life, this stone that is, pardon me, I'm seeing it as sort of like the cornerstone, the first stone put in place in the building of a house or the building of like a bridge or an archway. It's the first stone to set the precedent for all of the rest of the structure to come. This could be a new opportunity coming your way. This, whatever this is, it's a brand new energy that is foundational. I think in your last couple of readings, there's like the energy of the pine cone, which contains the seeds. It's like one little thing that contains the seeds for an entire forest of your abundance. Here it is again. The first stone that you put in place that starts the rest of your life. That's it. That's it. That's it. Hold on. Thanks for sticking with me as I puzzle this out. The first stone that you set in place that sets the stage for the rest of your life. And I think that's why you're feeling like you're at this fork in the road. Which thing am I going to choose? Which way am I going to go? Because that's going to set the tone. It's going to set the tone for the abundance that you invite in moving forward and for what you hunt after it's like, I can feel pretty strongly, let what you're hungry for lead the way in this decision. Speaking of decision, Queen of Swords, the Swan energy is speaking to me of leaving something behind. See the trail behind the Swan, and the book associated with the Wildwood. Pardon me, still recovering here. The Wildwood, the author speaks about this card as indicating some grief or loss, having left something behind, or needing to leave something behind. And that's kind of what you're seeing here with the Swan. The Swan is like looking back at where they came, what they have just recently left in their wake. And it's sort of like, Cap, you know, as we enter March, and the first part of March is the rest of this Mercury retrograde in Pisces energy, which is like this watery energy. Perhaps you're taking sort of a mental note of what you have left behind, and moving forward, what you may be asked to leave behind in order to set the building blocks in place for this different journey, to make a different choice. It's not even really a different choice, because it's like the energy that's here is that whatever you're leaving behind, it's not like you choose to what am I trying to say? You're going off in a different path, but it's because the path you were on came to an end. You know, it's not like you left that path. It's like the path you're on is just simply coming to an end. And you have to choose a new path either way. There is just no further continuation of this path, whatever that means for you. It's like you have to leave where you've been, the path you've been on, no matter what. Choose the path that's most in line with your truth, that's most in line with your deep hunger, with what thrills your hunt. It's good. It's real good, Cap. Okay, so let's get you some fairy guidance to end this part of your reading. I am going to take this into an extended, okay? So for those of you who have been following my channel for some time and you've been resonating with my work, I've set up an online community, Patreon, that you can join to receive the extended monthly shift readings every month, okay? So that's how you would be able to view the extended reading now, where we will go into more specifics with other decks to get some clarity on what exactly this is that you might be being asked to leave behind. What is this new energy, the stone that you're putting in place to pursue the rest of your life moving forward? What's this choice point about? Okay, so we're gonna get into some of that energy and pull other oracle cards and whatnot. So if that sounds like it's something that's interesting to you, stick around. At the end of this reading, I'm going to be putting a little preview of what that reading gets into to make sure that it resonates with you. And if it does, click the link in the description, head on over to Patreon, and please do read the description when you get there. It tells you all about how Patreon works and how you can view that extended over there. Okay? All right, Cap, let's get you some fairy guidance to end this part of your reading. Fairy guidance for Capricorn, please. What's the fairy guidance for Capricorn in March? Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Look at this energy. It's all blue, isn't it? I think it goes this way. We've got Epona's wild daughter and Iris of the rainbow. So Epona's wild daughter, you can see the horse, this horse leg speaks to me, and Epona, you know, this energy of one who is wanting, you know, the horse symbolizes freedom and movement to me. So this is energy of one who is desiring freedom and movement, but it's like there's a trial to pass through first. Look at this figure of a person doubled over. The owl seeing through the darkness. This is dark energy. It's like darkness as in nighttime, as in feeling like perhaps you can't see the way forward. The way forward towards freedom is under a heavy weight of maybe emotional darkness, or a darkness that is bringing a heaviness with it because you can't see the way forward. Epona's wild daughter talks about the wild of that darkness, the wild of the night. And it can talk about a bit of a time of a dark night, you know, a time of feeling the weight of that emotional exhaustion, that pressure. Like the Sphinx has some riddle that you need to crack and you just don't know the answer to it. It can feel like you're being put through a test. Like Epona is putting you through a test. It feels associated with what you might be being asked to leave behind. It's like, are you willing to make space for the new abundance that is trying to come in for you? Are you willing to have the full harvest? Or are you just going to stand at this road that you've been on even though it has ended? Something about that, Capricorn. And then we have, luckily, Iris of the Rainbows is here to kind of save the day, because what she does is she works with these other fairies to bring rainbows after the storm. You know, where this one is perhaps in a bit of a storm, the rains are just falling and it feels very emotionally heavy. When the clouds part, Iris comes in with the rainbow to remind you of hope, to remind you that this is all working towards something incredibly miraculous in your life. And abundant. It just may not be easy to leave the path you've been on. Even if what you're moving towards is really positive and abundant and fulfilling. Sometimes it can be really, really difficult and scary and painful to honor what truly fulfills us and to act on it. I think Epona's here for you. I think she wants you to have this freedom, but she's keeping her weight on you in this image so that you can talk to this owl. That's what I'm seeing here. It's like you need to talk to your own inner wisdom here. This part of you that can see through this darkness. This part of you that is deeply intuitive and very wise and very much knows what's right for you. Deep down, you know. You know, that's kind of the energy that's there. And she's like, I'm going to keep you here until you face that part of yourself that just knows the right thing and acknowledges it and takes that path. There's a lot of higher like the presence of guides, almost like the presence of higher guidance, very gently helping you through this emotionally. Like these are emotional cards. Mercury retrograde in Pisces for sure. Okay. All right, Cap. This has been a long one. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm going to go into the extended now. Maybe I'll see you on Patreon. Again, click the link in the description, head over there. But regardless, thanks so much for joining me here, Capricorn. If you are enjoying this work, please do click that like button, leave me a comment, let me know how this is resonating with you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so we can stay in touch. All right, Cap, I'll talk to you soon. You know, how healing for the swan to realize that it's a freaking swan and not a damn duck. Oh, thank God, right? This whole time I've been operating as a duck and wondering why I'm so freaking angry. I'm not a duck. Damn it. And that's the healing, is moving away from what you're not and towards what you are, towards what is more in line with your energy, what is more resonant for you, what's really going to bring you fulfillment, the hunt that you really want, the animal that you really are.